Hare Krishna. So, welcome all of you for this wonderful session on practical spirituality, the very first session of this year 2021. So, I welcome each one of you here on StreamYard, on YouTube, and everyone who is listening to the podcast as well. So, I already have Achyutanji and Dev Chandan who have joined the session. And yes, we also have Hina Mataji who just joined us now. So, wonderful, all of you for joining this session. And this is something that I was thinking since quite some time to have a very interesting practical session so that we can apply the principles of Bhagavad Gita in our life, day to day life. And that's extremely important because Bhagavad Gita is not simply a theoretical book, it's not simply a scripture with some principles, but it is something that we can apply in our day to day life. And that's exactly why we thought that this should be included in our study of Bhagavad Gita. And then we can relish so much more when we practice. So, as spiritual seekers, we all actually strive to get experiences, those spiritual experiences. And spiritual experiences come when we actually practice the principles given in the Bhagavad Gita. And then we get realizations. And that realization actually makes our life more fruitful, our bhakti more mature. And that's the reason it's extremely important that we know certain nitty-gritties of practical applications of spirituality. And although now there are so many things that we can discuss, but I specifically thought today we will discuss on a very important topic. And you see, Krishna's blessings can come in so many different ways. Actually, Krishna's name, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's words, everything is absolute, including Krishna's prasadam. But when it comes to prasadam, the relishment is quite quicker. We get the experience immediately. And that's why prasadam is so wonderful that we come in contact with Krishna and we relish and we appreciate Krishna very quickly. There are a lot of people who may not appreciate the philosophy, but when it comes to prasadam, nobody wants to deny it. So that's the beauty of prasadam. And that's why today we have this practical session on how to prepare prasadam, an extremely important, a very integral part of our spiritual life. Now we must know and understand that it's a very big deal in ISKCON when it comes to prasadam. Prasadam is not an ordinary thing and an isolated thing. Prasadam is very integral part of the ISKCON movement. In fact, Prabhupada said that our philosophy is kitchen philosophy, which means that we all are so much addicted to eating. The Krishna says that, okay, you eat this, you eat my prasadam. So I'm very glad that you could all join, and I also see Vinod Chandanji has joined. So definitely there are a lot of people who will also join soon, and I also appreciate and welcome all of those devotees who are listening on YouTube as well. So let's begin. Let me share my screen and let's begin with some invocation prayers like we do always. And this session we are offering to Srila Prabhupada, our beloved spiritual master, who is the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And you can see how in this very first image of the presentation today, Prabhupada is actually relishing prasadam. So Prabhupada, he not only cooked prasadam, he distributed prasadam, and he nicely honored prasadam. So by his example, we will understand more about prasadam today. And like we earlier discussed, that how it is so important to follow an acharya. Acharya means one who teaches by example, one who sets an example for everyone to follow. So Prabhupada has set an example for all of us when it comes to eating prasadam, cooking prasadam, and offering prasadam. So it's wonderful, and let's begin our session today with the prayers. So I request each one of you to please join your palms and repeat after me. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namaha Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Hare Krishna. So in this practical session of spirituality, we will understand this very important aspect of food, the concept of prasadam. And in this session, our agenda is to understand these following points, and the number one being importance of prasadam. We will briefly touch upon this principle of why we need to offer food to the Supreme Lord. And the second aspect that we're going to discuss today is cooking prasadam. How do we cook prasadam? Number three, how do we offer bhoga? After cooking all that we have cooked, how do we offer it to the Lord? And then finally, we will understand honoring prasadam. How do we have to take the prasadam of the Lord? I also wanted to touch upon serving prasadam, which is a science in itself. But I don't think I'll be able to cover that in this session today because we already have so many wonderful things to discuss. So the time will not be sufficient for us to discuss the last aspect, that is the science of serving prasadam. So while we are discussing all this agenda today, it may be possible that you may think that it is quite overwhelming. So please do not get overwhelmed by the nitty-gritties that we are going to share today. But if you can understand the principle behind and try to follow as much as possible that we are sharing, I'm sure it will take you one step closer to Krishna. It's extremely important. So that's our main intention. And as much as possible, we need to understand these principles and try to apply them and see that we can get closer to Krishna. And after discussing each and every agenda, we can open up for Q&A on that particular discussion that we had. So after discussing each agenda, you can feel free to ask questions and we can take questions on that particular aspect that we have discussed. So I hope that is clear, and it is very nice that you all are here today again. Once again, welcome all of you. So let's begin with the very first one, and that is importance of prasadam. I know your mouth is already watering after seeing the image in the presentation. There are so many wonderful, delicious things there in the plate. And yes, this is how we need to actually prepare food and offer it to the Supreme Lord. So honoring is last, but we'll first understand the importance of prasadam. So very recently in our discussion of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna in the 3rd chapter is explaining and stressing the point that how we need to perform yajna. All of us, we need to perform yajna so that we get purified. And Krishna also very beautifully explained that how the great devotees, yajna shishta sanasantoha. So all the great devotees, they partake only the remnants of food that is being first offered to Krishna. So what is prasadam? Prasadam means what? The literal meaning in Sanskrit, prasadam means the mercy of the Lord. Prasadam means the mercy of the Lord. So when you actually take prasadam, you are taking the mercy of the Lord, and that's why it is so important. Now prasadam, Prabhupada says that we need to take only Krishna prasadam. We are not supposed to take anybody else's prasadam. Only Krishna prasadam is what we need to take, because Krishna is absolute truth. He is the supreme truth. And when we take prasadam or food that is offered to Krishna, then that is prasadam. Anything else which is not offered to Krishna is not prasadam. So Prabhupada says that part of surrendering to Krishna is being careful not to eat anything that has not been offered to him. That should be our determination. So Prabhupada is explaining that how we need to take prasadam and we need to be very determined about it. Why? Because that is the sign of surrenderance to Krishna. So when you make up your mind that yes, I'm going to take only Krishna prasadam and nothing else, that means you are taking a step closer in your surrenderance towards Krishna. You are surrendering. See, this is a very important aspect. Every time, day in and out, we are actually eating, right? At least thrice in a day we are eating. So when you have a proper restriction and limitation, and you have a proper principle of, yes, I am going to take only prasadam that is offered to Krishna, that is surrenderance to Krishna. And that surrenderance comes only when you have love. So when you take only prasadam that is offered to Krishna, you are expressing your love towards Krishna. And Prabhupada also very beautifully explains that how in our Krishna conscious life, as bhaktas, as practicing devotees, we accept Krishna as our supreme master. He is the supreme master of all of us. Now, as a servant of Krishna, we need to take the remnants. In ordinary life also, we see that how the servants, they generally take food after the master has taken. Once the family members, the master and the master's family members, they take food, that is when the servants take the food. Now, since we have accepted Krishna as our master, we need to take the remnants of the food that is being offered to the Lord. And that should be the attitude of a devotee. Attitude of a devotee means we will take only that which is offered to Krishna. And I will take, what is the attitude of the devotee? I will take prasadam when Krishna provides it. It's not like I'm hungry, I will eat whenever I want. No. Krishna will send and provide everything that is needed for a devotee's life, the sustenance of devotee's life. So that should be our attitude. Now the question comes, Prabhu, you said only Krishna prasadam. Can we also take the food that is offered to the devatas? There are so many devatas. We have 33 crores devatas. Can we take prasadam of the devatas also? Actually, Prabhupada says in one of the purports of Srimad Bhagavatam that actually a Vaishnava is not allowed to take any food offered to the demigods. A Vaishnava is always fixed in accepting prasada offered to Lord Vishnu. You see, actually, we should know the devatas, the demigods, are also great Vaishnavas. They do not take anything which is not offered to Vishnu. So the devatas, they are such a great devotees that they take only prasadam. So now if you offer something to the devatas which is not offered to Vishnu, first of all, they will not accept it. And then you want to take it by yourself, that is not called prasadam. So the right procedure, the correct way of taking prasadam means, first it should be offered to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Like in Jagannath Puri, Prabhupada says that the food is first offered to Krishna. It is offered to Krishna, and then in Puri Jagannath, in the temple, you will see there are many other temples of devatas also. That food which is offered to Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra is then taken to the devatas. And they are very nicely honoring the prasadam of Jagannath, and then finally it comes for distribution to all of us, the devotees. So that is the right procedure of accepting the prasadam of the Supreme Lord. So we cannot directly offer to the demigods and then take prasadam. Many people offer, especially if you go to Calcutta, they have this principle of Kali prasadam. Now they offer meat and then they say Kali prasadam, and every slaughterhouse, every meat shop will have this Kali prasadam board. They simply kill, they don't even offer to Kali, they simply say Kali prasadam and they kill the animals and they eat it. So such things are not actually recommended. So we as Vaishnavas, as practicing devotees, we are not supposed to take anything that is not offered to Vishnu. Even if it is offered to devatas, we are not supposed to take that prasadam. Right? Prasadam means anything that is offered to Vishnu. Anything that is not offered to Vishnu, it is not prasadam. In simple words. So when it is not offered, we cannot take anything that is offered to the devatas. Definitely we should not take anything that is being eaten by some karmis. Who is karmi? Karmi means a materialistic person. A materialistic person, he can eat so many things, and then especially in this corporate culture, people have this parties and they exchange food from one plate to another plate, and then they think that it's all okay. You drink from the same glasses, and there is a lot of transfer of food from plates to plates, and this is not a good principle, because when you eat prasadam, that is not prasadam, when you eat food from people's plate, there is an exchange of karma. Just like when you offer food that is being offered to Krishna, you get infected by the love of Krishna because it is purified. Similarly, the opposite reaction, when you take something, the food which is offered buy some karmis to you from their plate, then you will get infected by materialistic ideas. A very fine example of the power of prasadam is the example of Narad Muni. When Narad Muni, in his previous life, before he actually became Narad Muni, it comes in the Srimad Bhagavatam that how, when he was a small boy, just a 5-6-year-old boy, his home was visited by the Bhakti Vedantas. The Bhakti Vedantas are the people who keep traveling, the sannyasis, they keep traveling. But during Chaturmasya, they reside in one place during the rainy season. And they happen to stay at this place. And Narad Muni and his mother, they were nicely serving the sannyasis. And Narad Muni, the small young Narad Muni, was actually taking the remnants of these Bhakti Vedantas. And just by taking the leftovers of these great devotees, Narad Muni could actually understand the bhakti. The bhakti sprouted in his heart, and that's how he could actually practice Ashtanga Yoga and see the Lord within his heart. So that is the power of taking prasadam of the great devotees. The prasadam, the food that is offered to Krishna, is called Mahaprasadam. But the same Mahaprasadam, when it is taken by the devotees, the pure devotees, the acharyas, then it becomes Mahaprasadam. And when you take Mahaprasadam of acharyas like Srila Prabhupada and the great acharyas that we have seen in the past, then it is going to have a very tremendous effect on our consciousness. But the opposite is also very true. So we should not take any food which is not offered, which is offered by these karmis. We should be extremely careful. Do not eat anything that is being given. In corporate culture, when there are meetings and all these things, you can very nicely still be there, have official things done, but please do not exchange, because there is an exchange of karma. So this is a very important principle. Now within the family, I understand it may be impractical, and as family members, anyway there is an exchange of karma that is happening. But especially when you're dealing with materialistic people, we should be extremely careful not to eat anything that is being given by people. Right? So these are the principles that we need to follow when it comes to prasadam, and take only Krishna prasadam. Now let's ponder upon some very important points. The very first point I want to share, first and foremost, one should eat only prasadam. That's why Yagnashishta Sanasantaha. What Krishna is saying, Bhagavad Gita, that when you eat prasadam, it is said very beautifully, we also discussed, Ahara Shuddho Sattva Shuddhihi. When you eat purified food, how do we get purified food? Any food that is offered in yajna, that becomes purified, that becomes Yagnashishta. And when we eat Yagnashishta, our consciousness, our existence becomes purified. And when our existence becomes purified, what happens? Our memory is revived. And when our memory is revived, what happens? We will start thinking about Krishna. You see? So in the previous point that we discussed, that not to take anything from the karmis, very beautifully there is an explanation given even in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Leela, the 6th chapter. It is said that how Vishayera Anna Khaile Malina Hayaman Malina Man Hoile Nahi Krishnera Smaran, which means that when you take Vishayera means materialistic people. Vishayera Anna Khaile, when you eat the food which is eaten by the materialistic people, Malina Hayaman, your mind will become polluted. Malina Man Hoile, when your mind will become polluted, then what will happen? Nahi Krishnera Smaran. You will not be able to remember Krishna. So that becomes an impediment in your Krishna consciousness. You see? So please do not take anything that is offered by these materialistic people. Very, very important point, because it becomes an impediment in your own Krishna consciousness. So please eat only prasadam that is offered by the devotees, cooked by the devotees, and then finally served by the devotees. Very, very important. Second important point I want to explain here is, ideally, like I already said, we should take prasadam or food which is cooked by devotees, offered by the devotees, and then finally served by the devotees. So it's extremely important in a family setup. We all have to become devotees. And eating prasadam is the first step towards it. So all of you, please think about this and very nicely try to inculcate this principle of offering prasadam. So now, in the same spirit, we should also know that there are a lot of commercial foods. There are items like chocolates and ice creams and chips and biscuits and cold drinks and bread, etc. All these things should be avoided. A Vaishnava never takes all these things. As much as possible, we should avoid. It's very difficult, but then we need to follow this. There was this one devotee, I think it was in Mumbai. So this devotee was having this habit of buying some chocolates every time. He was a Prabhupada's disciple, and he used to actually purchase some vegetables and all those things. But along with that, with some change, he used to buy some chocolates. And I think those days there used to be this 5-star chocolate, and he used to keep them and eat them. So once it so happened that Prabhupada was there in the temple, and this devotee happened to go and purchase some vegetables, and he had his quota of chocolates in the pocket. And then when he came to the temple, he saw Prabhupada in a room, and he immediately paid obeisances. He paid his namaskara. And then when he paid his namaskara, the chocolates actually spilled out. And then Prabhupada saw those 5-star chocolates all there on the ground, and then Prabhupada looks at them. Now this devotee is in a dilemma. What should I do? So he takes one of the chocolate and then offers it to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, please take, this is for you. So he was trying to bribe Prabhupada by giving the chocolate. Prabhupada said, no, devotees don't eat chocolates. And then Prabhupada told him, all these things should be avoided. We should not take this. And then Prabhupada did not just tell him that we should not take chocolates. Very soon, little later, Prabhupada personally went to the kitchen and cooked a very fantastic sweet, and then gave it to this particular devotee and told him to have this. This devotee who took that sweet from Prabhupada, which was personally cooked by Prabhupada, he said that the taste was mind-blowing, out of the world. It was coming something from the spiritual world. And from that day on, he never touched chocolates again in his life. So now people say, devotees think, okay, actually, we should not eat the dark chocolates because it has caffeine in it. But we can take white chocolates. No, even white chocolates also should be avoided. Now, there is some addictive material in that that is called the thiogobin or something like that, which is also present in tea. That's why we don't take tea as well. So these things should be avoided. Ice creams, chips and biscuits. Now they will be thinking, Prabhuji, what are you telling? These are all my favorite foods and you're asking me not to eat? Yeah, so this is why the tapasya comes. See, all of you have earlier agreed that you will not be able to go to the jungles and do tapasya. And in fact, none of you really vouched for that. Oh, Prabhuji, I'll go to the jungle and do tapasya. So Prabhupada is giving something very simple. You can be at your home, but you do this tapasya, which is very simple. Much simple than going to the tapasya, going to the jungle, right? So these things should be avoided. Absolutely no to these things. Try to avoid things that are available in the market. One thing is, Prabhupada also gives an exception, where Prabhupada says that generally we should not take any prasadam, any food from people. But when you pay for that food, that is extreme condition. When you pay for that food, it is called dravya mulena shuddhati. When you pay for the food, it becomes purified to some extent. Then you can actually take it. But simply without paying, if you take, then it is going to bind you. It is very sinful. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, anything that is not offered, you are eating only sin. Agham papa. Krishna explained that, isn't it? Right? So there is some practical difficulties we may face while traveling. Sometimes when we are traveling and we are going out for preaching or professional work, we will be compelled to eat in a restaurant. So in that situation, you need to identify a restaurant where they cook without onion and garlic. A pure vegetarian restaurant. Instead of going to a non-vegetarian restaurant, you can go to restaurant where it is pure vegetarian, and then you can find out something which is without onion and garlic. Very important, extremely important. Again, these are exception. Generally, you should take prasadam, but then when it is an unavoidable situation, then you can try to find out some prasadam. Like, generally ISKCON temples will have some prasadam outlets. You can take something from there. Or there are some outlets where the Jain food is available where they don't put onion and garlic. But these are extreme conditions. This is not that, I just want to eat and satisfy my tongue, so I'll go and take something from these places and eat it. No, it's only when you're traveling or it's an extreme condition. Okay? So this is all about importance of prasadam. But before we go to the next section, I just want to see if you all have any questions. So if there is any question, please let me know. I would like to take some questions. So while we are discussing these few important points, please ask some questions so that it can be very interactive. So let me check my comment section if there are any questions. Okay, right now I don't have any, but here devotees on YouTube also, if you have any questions regarding the subject matter of prasadam or the importance of prasadam, please do feel free to ask questions. Yes. Any questions, please? So because this is very important topic and we are going to do this day in and out, every day we are going to cook prasadam. If there is anything that you want to ask, please feel free to ask.
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had a question. So we have our family gods where we so where we offer this prasadam. So we have various other gods in our like Devi temples that we have where we do this pujas and offer prasadam there, and we consume those prasadam also. So considering that you are telling that it has to be only Vishnu prasadam, so how do we look at it now?
Yes. So that's why I also mentioned the procedure, how they offer in Jagannath temple. So what happens is generally any temples you go, even the Devata temples, the procedure is, if you go to some Shiva temples, they first offer it to the Shaligrama. They offer it to Vishnu there. And after offering it to Vishnu, then they offer it to Shiva. And then it is finally distributed to all the devotees. So same procedure can be applied at your home also. In fact, when we do Shraddha also, there are times when we, every year we perform Shraddha ceremony to our ancestors. We don't directly offer food to them. Actually, it is first offered to Vishnu and then we give that Vishnu prasadam to the Pitra Devatas. Then the Pitra Devatas will take care of distributing that to the ancestors. So that is the process. So when you have any ceremonies of during different festivals like Durga Puja or Devi Puja, anything that we are doing, the first principle is when you prepare anything, it should be offered to Vishnu. Because Durga Devi is a great Vaishnavi. She will not take anything that is not offered to Vishnu. Please understand, they are great devotees. All the Devatas, they are Suras. They will accept only things that are offered to Vishnu. In fact, any yajna, you take any yajna, yajna is incomplete without food. Prabhupada says, yajna means there should be food. There should be yajna sishta. But no matter which yajna you perform, the ultimate bhokta, the enjoyer, the supreme enjoyer is Krishna. Then when you offer it to Krishna, all the devatas partake their quota of those offerings. Until then, nobody takes it. No Vaishnavas will take it. Even the devatas will not accept it. So that is why, because there is lack of knowledge, because there is no understanding of all these things, people misunderstand and they just follow however they want. So it is a very nice way of offering the Vishnu Prasadam to the Devatas and then take it by yourself. And in fact, by doing so, the Devatas are very happy. They will be so pleased with you and they will bless you even more because you are offering them Krishna Prasadam. In fact, there is a very big pastime. Prasadam descended on this planet because of Durga Devi. There is a pastime, sometimes I will definitely explain. Prasadam came onto this planet, this Bhuloka, it's because of Durga Devi. So she will not accept anything that is not offered to Krishna. Please understand. So I think this is the proper way and we should follow this process of offering food to Vishnu and then giving it to the Devatas and then take that as Mahaprasadam. So that is the right process. So I hope that answers your question. And Chaitanya is also asking some questions. It was told that onion and garlic should be avoided, but considering the medicinal properties of garlic, is it okay to use garlic or should be avoided? It should be avoided because there are a lot of alternatives to that medicinal properties. You see, garlic is in tamoguna, onion is in rajoguna. So Krishna explains in the 17th chapter that how we need to avoid rajasic and tamasic food. We should take food that is in sattva guna and then offer it to Krishna and then take shuddha sattva prasadam. So onion and garlic is in rajoguna and tamoguna. Please do not take onion and garlic, although they have medicinal properties. But when we take Vaishnavas, we take prasadam not simply for the nourishment of the body, but we take food for the nourishment of the mind also. So any jaisa an vaisaman. So when you eat rajasic and tamasic food, it is affecting your mind and affecting your thoughts. It makes you more rajasic and tamasic, which are not conducive for your spiritual progress. So that is why we need to avoid onion and garlic completely. So another question is it okay to check? So he's saying that, is it okay to check the taste of prasadam while cooking and see if everything is fine? So I'm coming to that point. I'll touch upon that point very soon. Vinod Chandanji is asking, what about buffet? Normally in corporates, they call the offer buffet, yeah. We are actually not paying directly. Yes, anytime when we go to such programs, generally we should exchange something. It's very important. That's why Dravya Mulena Shuddhati. But if you simply take prasadam, food that is offered by these people, which is not prasadam, it's going to affect you. That's why. First thing is we should take prasadam. But since the buffet in the hotels and all these places is not prasadam, you should at least pay something to them. Some little amount you pay, even if it is free, offered free, you should pay something and you should come. It is an etiquette for your own purification. That way you are not bound. So never take free prasadam from people. There is an exchange of karma. So although there may be a lot of palatable dishes and you may get tempted to eat and it is free, so even more temptation is there now. So we should see the higher principle. Oh my God, it is akham papa. Krishna is saying, I may eat all these things, but I am actually consuming sin. I don't want to consume because it is cooked by people who are materialistic. So it will affect your consciousness. So at least pay something. In those unavoidable situations, first thing is, in those buffets also, there are certain things which you can follow. For example, there are things that you not cooked. For example, there will be salads, there will be fruit juices, there will be fruits, cut fruits. All these things can be taken at least as an option and as an alternative. So hence they are not cooked. They are natural items like milk, juice, fruits. They are natural things. You can take them since they are not cooked. So in that case, you are not just keeping yourself safe, but you are also not accumulating any karma. So these natural things you can take when you are going to such official programs and meetings. So you can avoid the cooked food and take the natural foods even when the buffet is offered to you. So that's one option that you can follow. So also what happens when we go to eat dinner at relatives' place? Now this is a big problem. Extremely tough situation when you go to relatives' place and to tell them no, there's a big challenge. But if you have that conviction, if you are very strong, if you are not wavering in your Krishna consciousness, you will say no to them. And you will explain to them that why you are not taking. You will explain to them, showing them Bhagavad Gita, that see Krishna is told, only that food which is offered, I am going to take. If you want to take a family get together, you want to have, please come over to my home. We will nicely prepare prasadam and we will have together. But if you want me to come at your place, then you should offer it to the Lord. Then only I will take. And many people will respect. Now some people may tell, oh, you are this, and emotionally they may try to make you feel guilty. But instead, you should make them guilty that you are not offering to Krishna and you are simply taking bhoga. That is not good. So many times we feel, oh, they are my relatives. What should I do? I can just simply take it. Let them not feel bad about it. No. We have to be very convinced. That's why the very first point, as Vaishnavas, we need to be determined. That's preaching also. Vinodji, this is a very good principle. By your actions, you are preaching to them that yes, this is a principle that I'm following and please respect my principle. Just like the Muslims, they don't eat pigs. You know that? They eat all other meats, but they don't eat pigs. No matter where they go and pig is offered to them, they will say, no, I will not take pork. They are very clear about it. So like that, we need to have a very strong determination that I'm not going to take anything that is not offered to Krishna. So people will respect that. They will understand. When you give them proper principle, when you make them understand the principle, they will respect you even more. And they're cautious next time just because they are not aware. They are not aware about your principles, they may offer it to you. But when you explain to them, they will respect and they will also nicely take care of it next time. Okay, so Hina Mataji is asking, how can we identify materialistic persons? If they are not offering food to Krishna, then they are materialistic people. That's one very simple way. So they don't chant, they don't actually pray to God. They are only thinking about money and materialistic things, sense enjoyment. So these are materialistic people. They have no understanding of spirituality. So they are materialistic. They don't read, they don't come for these sessions. You see, you're all coming for these sessions, you're all devotees. So those people who are simply today, Sunday morning, they're enjoying and they'll be busy thinking of eating meat. Oh, Sunday means we'll eat meat. You see, so they are busy with that. So they are materialistic people. Good, very nice. I'm really impressed with all the questions that you all have asked. And by the way, here devotees on YouTube, you can also feel free to ask questions live and you can understand certain things. So let's go to the next section of our discussion, and it's very interesting because there are so many points that we need to understand. So let's dive into the next section of our discussion. All right. Cooking prasadam. You see, so nice picture of Prabhupada. He is preparing nice prasadam for all the devotees here. So let's understand what are the nitty-gritties of cooking prasadam. So very first thing is, we should offer what Krishna likes. It's not that, oh, I like something today. Oh, I want to eat paneer butter masala. Then I will go and offer it to Krishna and then I will enjoy it. No. We have to offer everything that is liked by Krishna. And what Krishna likes, he says that in the Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Valam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati Tadaham Bhakti Uparatam Ashnami Prayatatmanaha. See, our Krishna is so wonderful. The Lord is so easy to approach. And Krishna's approach towards us is also very easy. Very, very simple. Krishna is not complicated. Actually, Krishna is saying that you just offer me patram, just one leaf, pushpam, one flower, phalam, fruit, or little water. Sometimes if you don't have water to offer, if you simply remember me and if you cry, remembering me, I will accept your tears. Toyam. That is the mercy of Krishna. See, so simple Krishna is. But it is the tongue, our tongue, which is very complicated. Now they will be thinking, oh Prabhuji, what are you saying? Krishna is very simple. He wants only leaf, flower and fruit and water. But what about my tongue? Now you are telling that we should take only prasadam, and Krishna is saying you offer only patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. But I want to eat so many things. What should I do? So that's why scriptures, knowing our condition, they have given some simple things for us. Although Krishna is satisfied with just leaf, a flower and fruit and water, but Krishna also says in the scriptures that how we can offer anna, grita, dadi and dugda. What does it mean? Anna means any food grains. Food grains, grita means ghee, dadi means yogurt, and dugdha means milk. If you can have these four things, these are the foundation, these are the basis of all the nutrition and the food. So just having milk, yogurt, ghee and food grains is enough. In fact, Prabhupada says vegetables and food are subsidiary. And by the combination, mix and match of these four things, you can prepare hundreds and thousands of food varieties. When you go to Annakuta, when times, especially during Govardhan Puja, they prepare Annakuta, varieties and varieties of chappan bhog and many things they apply and they prepare, all made only by these four things: food grains, ghee, yogurt and milk. You can prepare many things. So anything other than that, we are not supposed to consume. So anything within this category, we can take and consume. This is explained by Krishna in the 17th chapter also. So Krishna is very simple, but since our tongue is complicated and it needs so many things, a lot of demands it has, we need to satisfy it by the combination of all these four things, right? So the very first principle that comes into picture while cooking prasadam for Krishna is kitchen cleanliness. Extremely important now. So Prabhupada says that kitchen is an extension of the altar, the puja room. So kitchen is as good as puja room. Please understand. Just like you keep the DT room very clean, the puja room very clean, we need to keep our kitchen very clean. In fact, if you want to understand the consciousness of a person, if you want to understand the consciousness of a family, you just go and see their kitchen and their toilets. It is very important. You will get to know whether they are devotees or not. Very important. Prabhupada makes this point. Prabhupada was very strict on this point. Keep the kitchen extremely clean because it reflects our consciousness. If we are accustomed to see dirty things again and again, it only says that we are in tamoguna. Because a person in sattva he cannot tolerate unclean things. You see people who are in sattva immediately they will clean. Any unclean thing, they'll immediately clean. So that is the nature. So kitchen means it is very close to puja room. A Vishnu yagna or an offering to Lord Vishnu cannot be performed in uncleanly, Prabhupada says. Yagna should be offered in a clean place. And cooking is an yagna. To offer anything in an unclean state is seva aprada. You are doing seva, but it is with offense. So kitchen should be clean. Prabhupada says at least twice a day. It should be neat and clean, and anytime you cook, you should be able to clean it nicely before and after. So Prabhupada says the kitchen department should be very clean and things should not be wasted. This is the first consideration. So anything that you cook, please ensure that you do not waste. A lot of people, especially when they invite guests at home and then they prepare a lot of things and then many things go waste. Of course, we'll be very glad to know if people are cooking, inviting people and cooking and giving them, offering food. That's an amazing thing, because these days people generally just order online and then give it to people. No, the expression of love is you yourself cook and offer it to God and then give prasadam to people. That's an expression of love. And not just an expression of love, it's also labor of love, right? So please keep the kitchen extremely clean. So some points to ponder on this very important aspect, and that is, when you go to the kitchen, please wear clean and uncontaminated clothes in the kitchen. Clothes which are properly washed. You should not wear unclean clothes and then enter and then, no. That is not recommended. You should wear clean clothes. Just like you wear clean clothes and enter the puja room, exactly like that, you should wear clean clothes and then enter the kitchen room. Very important. Do not talk unnecessarily in the kitchen. Now, what happens is people, when they're cooking, they keep talking. And then there is every possibility that you may actually end up spitting sometimes in the food that you're cooking, right? So you should talk as minimal as you want. No talking at all, absolutely no talking. But when there is a big kitchen, a lot of big cooking is happening, then you need to have some interaction, but that should be related to Krishna again. But unnecessary talking, gossip should be avoided while cooking. Very important. Do not wear shoes in the kitchen. Now, this is a very Western idea. Now, you see, Christians generally they wear shoes even in the church. But that's not our principle and that's not our culture. I have seen many Hindu families these days. We happen to be in one of the family home program where we were having this Damodara program. Every Kartik we have. And I saw literally that when we were having a program, the family members, they wear shoes and they're just entering the kitchen. It's not what we actually propagate. This is not the right thing to do. Please do not wear shoes. Just like you do not wear shoes in the temple, you cannot wear shoes in the kitchen as well. Extremely important. So now, before and after cooking, clean up the cooking platform, stove and sink. So very important that when we cook anytime and after cooking and before cooking, we need to clean the platform, the stove and the sink. You know, if there is any spillover, all those things need to be cleaned properly. Otherwise, it will accumulate and then it will create a lot of problem. It will invite a lot of insects and other things. So please avoid that. Do not use brooms or cloths used for cleaning the floor to clean vessels used for cooking. Now, this is another very insensitive thing. You know, you take the broom or the cloth that is being used for mopping the floor, and then the same cloth, you bring it on the kitchen top. I mean, people just don't understand this. They take all the dirt from the floor and they're bringing on the kitchen top and on the stove. They wipe with the same thing. So it is improper. You cannot take the broomstick and then clean the kitchen floor. It is improper. But people do not understand these things. So these are all very unhygienic things and we need to avoid them. So, and do not eat inside the kitchen. Just like we do not eat inside the puja room, we should not eat in the kitchen room. Absolutely no, we cannot eat. So now with this point, it's very clear that we should not even taste it while we are cooking, right? So you see, many people, what they do is they are cooking, and while they are cooking, they are just so excited to taste. Oh, Prabhuji, I want to offer it to Krishna, but let me taste whether I have put salt or not. And then they taste it right there. They take a little bit and then they taste it. And then we are supposed to take Uchista of Krishna. Not that we give our Uchista to Krishna. We are supposed to take Prasadam of Krishna, right? But instead, what people do is sometimes they give their Prasadam. Of course, it is not Prasadam, but then they give their Uchista to Krishna. No, that is incorrect. So, please avoid such things. So, we should not taste. And this is an expertise of a cook. A cook is so expert, he will not taste while cooking. If you are actually tasting while cooking, then that means you are not a good cook. So that is the symptom of a good cook, that he will never taste unless it is offered to Krishna. And then, coming back to our kitchen cleanliness, do not rinse your mouth in the kitchen sink. So many times, you know, people eat food and then finally they go and rinse their mouth in the kitchen sink. No, if you have a bathroom sink or any other sink, please go there and you please gargle your mouth and spit it over there. But please do not rinse your mouth in the kitchen sink, because that is where so many things are getting cleansed. The utensils and other important paraphernalia of cooking is being cleansed. So, but I understand there are some practical difficulties. There are some small houses, people may have to have this challenge where they don't have multiple sinks and then they have to actually use the kitchen sink. So in such unavoidable cases, you can have gobar with you. See, what happens is sometimes anything becomes unclean. The gobar can actually purify the utensils, the kitchen floor. Anytime you feel that, oh, by mistake or knowingly or unknowingly, the things in the kitchen have become impure, please apply gobar and it will purify. Okay? Do not smell taste foods being prepared for the Lord. Now you may all wonder, oh Prabhuji, what is this? I mean, you told us not to taste, that's okay. We can wait until it is offered. But how can I avoid smelling? You are cooking right there, and how can I avoid smelling? It's extremely difficult. I know, I understand, but the fragrance is all over, especially when you cook something good. You tend to consciously, yes, it is so nice, aromatic food, and I'm going to offer it to the Lord. No, you should consciously not do that. But yes, unconsciously, you cannot avoid, and Krishna understands. So please do not look at the food with the intention of, yes, as soon as Krishna takes, I'm going to enjoy it. That should not be our mood. Good. I see there are some more people who have joined on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. So now, do not eat directly from the deity's plate. Transfer the prasadam to another vessel or plate before being eaten. So now, you have a separate plate. You need to have a separate plate. It can be steel plate, it can be brass plate, it can be silver plate, it can be plastic plate, doesn't matter, but it should be a separate plate for Krishna. When you offer it to Krishna, you cannot take from Krishna's plate and eat it. No, that's nonsense. You should not take it. Very, very wrong. You cannot take from Krishna's glass the water and drink it. It is an offense. So Krishna is the Supreme Lord. We are his servants. A servant will not take anything that is used by the master. So please avoid doing that. If you touch the floor or garbage cans or the lower parts of your body, wash your hands. Not just the lower parts. In fact, some people, while cooking, they will be putting their index finger in the nose, in the mouth, and they'll be doing something. And then with the same hand, they will take the ladle and then they keep stirring the sambar. No, please do not do that. If anytime you do that, please wash your hands and again come back. When Prabhupada was in the US, very first time, he was having this marriage ceremony. He was cooking for the whole bunch of people there, and he had one assistant. And she was actually the sister of the bride. And then while she is cooking, Prabhupada, do you know how to make dal? Aata banana aata hai? Then she said, no, I don't know. Then Prabhupada said, and in India, a 12-year-old girl knows how to make atta. You don't know make? Come, I'll show you. So Prabhupada taught. And then while she's doing all that, she's frying some kachoris and all, then she's saying, Prabhupada, can I go and smoke? You see, Prabhupada was dealing with such people. So Prabhupada said, okay, all right, you can smoke, you go out, smoke, wash your hands, rinse your mouth, come and then again cook. So be very, very clean while cooking. Extremely important. And then if you have any infectious disease, suppose just in case if you are infected by some disease and you are not well, please do not enter the kitchen area because you may actually contaminate the food that is being offered to the Lord. We have to offer pure things to Krishna. So in an uncontaminated state, we are not supposed to enter the kitchen. Right? And avoid hair fall. Now, it's difficult, but as much as possible, please try to avoid hair fall while cooking. Because especially in Krishna's plate, it comes in our plate, no problem. But if it goes in Krishna's plate, that is not okay. So please ensure that there are no hair in Krishna's plate. Okay. Now this is another very important point that I want to share with all of you. Refrigerator cleanliness. Now all of us have refrigerators. We have fridge at home. And it's very important to know that food which is already been offered should never be put back into the refrigerator with the unoffered food. Fridge means when you have a refrigerator, it is actually for those raw materials. It is to store raw materials. It is not that you cook everything in excess and then that excess food I will go and keep it in the fridge. That is not allowed. You want to cook fresh and eat it fresh and finish it off. No business of keeping cooked food into the refrigerator. As much as possible, try to avoid this. Very, very important. You should prepare as much as can be consumed, and after offering, nothing should be put back in the refrigerator or kitchen. Now, there is this concept of weekend cooking, especially in the West. Aradhana was telling us that when she was in the US, she had some of her colleagues, they used to cook on a weekend and they used to cook enough for the whole week. They used to refrigerate it and keep eating the stale food again and again all throughout the week. I mean, you are earning so much and they don't even eat fresh food. So please do not do that. Please avoid as much as possible. Now, the refrigerator should always be very clean and pure. Now, how to make it pure? You can apply some gobar to the refrigerator as well, and it's practical. I'm telling you, it's important. You can sprinkle some gomutra or gobar and then clean the refrigerator. Very, very important. If there is any food extra, that should be kept separately, not inside the fridge or not within the kitchen area. Once cooking is done, the main course, all those things, cooked food should be out of the kitchen, and kitchen should be clean. No more business of going into the kitchen. All the cooked food should be in the dining area and people should consume it in the dining area. That is the principle. That is how kitchen should be clean. Kitchen means it's a puja room. It's a puja room. Please understand. And the more careful one is in regard to these small rules, the more one can become conscious of Krishna. So please understand, all these things that we are doing may appear to be very overwhelming, but ultimately this is for our purification. The more we take care of these small rules and regulations, you are actually pleasing Krishna. It is just showing your intensity of love towards Krishna. It is showing that how intensely you are actually thinking of becoming pure in your consciousness. So that is why all these things need to be followed properly. Very, very important. So now, before we go to the next section, let's see if there are any more questions. Let me see if there are any questions. Let's open up for Q&A now, and let's see if there are any questions. All right. So, okay, there's a lot of things here. Wonderful questions, I see. So, we know also what happens relatives place. Is there a procedure to offer food to Krishna every day at home? Yes, definitely there is, and I'm going to tell you about that very soon. The procedure, we are going to discuss that. And nowadays people may buy curd, ghee from the market. Your views, please. Yes, it is unavoidable, but you can take them. And fortunately, Krishna is not vegan, you see. Krishna is called Makhanchor. He goes and steals butter and milk and all these things. So Krishna is not vegan. Vegan people who follow this veganism, I appreciate their feeling and protective nature towards animals, but that also doesn't mean that we go to an extreme state. So we are not going to accept any extreme things here. So Krishna likes butter and Krishna is not vegan. We will also accept all that is being taken by Krishna. So milk, curd can be taken, although it is from some farm and dairies, we can consume it. Now what happens is, see, when cows, they are nicely taken care of. In fact, what happens is they start giving more and more milk, not just enough for their calf, but also for human beings. That's how the Lord has designed the cows. So we are supposed to take milk, consume milk, especially the desi cow milk, because it's going to nourish your brain. So we can take them, and we can definitely take curd and other things that you get from the packet, because we are in this situation. We can bet. Prabhupada says, make the best use, make the best bargain. You know, whatever it is, you do the good bargain of a bad deal. Whatever it is, take and utilize it and become pure. Krishna will understand, but with the intention of pleasing Krishna. So, Vinod Chandan, Chaitanya, best time to offer prasadam, how many times? Yes, we are going to come to that part very soon. I will take that question. Shabri had tasted and offered to Ram, and Lord Ram said it was okay. Your views, please. Now that was Shabri after all. I mean, Shabri is a pure devotee, and she had done so much of intense tapasya based on the orders of her spiritual master. So Shabri, out of love, that intense love, she offered it to Krishna, the Lord Rama. Now that is very much possible for us also, that we can taste it first and then give it, but do we have that kind of intense love? Krishna will accept. Krishna is ready to accept. It is not that only I will take from Shabri or I'll take it from Radharani, I will take from gopis. No. He will take from each one of us, provided that we have that kind of intense love. So with that intense love, when we give, Even our jhuta, Krishna will accept it. Prabhu, but unknowingly when we cook, we happen to smell the dishes. Is it okay? Unknowingly, it's okay, but knowingly, if you are smelling and you're tasting and then you are seeing at it and then wanting the desire, you have the desire to enjoy that later on, that is not okay. Okay, so these are few things that we discussed. Let's quickly roll on to the next discussion because there are so many important things that we need to discuss still. So, yeah. Now, this is a very important thing, and that is offering bhoga. Offering bhoga. We do not offer prasadam to Krishna. It's not offering prasadam. It is offering bhoga. What it means? Anything that is not offered to the Lord yet is called bhoga. Anything that is offered to the Lord is called prasadam. So, when we actually prepare all these foodstuffs, we are offering bhoga. Krishna says, Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the bhokta of everything. He is the ultimate bhokta. So, what principle is? Anything and everything that is being given to us by Krishna, we are offering back to Krishna, to the ultimate bhokta. My Lord, it is given by you, I am giving it back to you. So offering bhoga, it is not offering prasadam, it is called offering bhoga. We take and consume prasadam. So now let's understand this procedure of offering prasadam. So point number one, very important, please make a note. So when the food is nicely prepared, we offer it back to the source from which everything emanates. So food which is nicely prepared. How do you define nicely food? A nice food means, very first thing is that which looks very good. Sometimes people prepare food and it is, just by look at it, you will say, oh my God, this is not good. It should be very pleasing. When you cook food, it should be very nicely done. So it should look good, number one. Then the food should smell very good. The fragrance should be very nice. It should not be too burnt. When it burns, it gives a very different type of aroma. So the food, the second aspect of good food is it smells very nice. The third aspect of good food is the texture of the food. Just imagine you give a papad and that is very soft. Can you enjoy the papad? No, you cannot enjoy. So the texture of the food is also very important. Then finally comes the taste. The final aspect of food, the good food, is the taste. Then it should taste very nicely. So now, the ultimate, the cook of the cook, the best chef in the whole universe is Radharani. Radharani is such an expert cook that she knows what Krishna likes and she prepares every single day a new dish, a new recipe every single day. Can you imagine? And there is no repetition. Radharani is such an expert cook that she doesn't repeat any recipe twice for Krishna. Unlimited varieties of recipes she is cooking, even till date. Every single day it is new, Nava Nava Rasa. Just this one fact is enough for us to understand that we should go back to God. Just imagine when you go to the spiritual world and there Krishna is preparing so many beautiful, Radharani is preparing wonderful things, Krishna is having, and then Krishna is distributing to all his friends, and then finally we get to eat it. Every single day a new recipe. So that's the mood which we need to actually understand and cook. Okay, we are offering back to Krishna. So Krishna is actually not hungry for all the food that you are giving. Krishna is hungry for your love. He's wanting, this devotee is offering, yo me bhaktya prayachati. He's seeing, do you have love for me? Do you have that bhakti for me? Then he will accept it. Simply you offer some nice dishes, he will not going to accept it. What are we going to offer it to him? He is having nice food prepared by Radharani. Our food is nothing for him. But still, for our purification, he comes and he accepts it. You see? So, very, very important. And then, how do we offer? So, when you prepare a food, any prasadam, so what are we supposed to do is, when you cook the bhoga, you put it in the nice plate. You see, for example, here, I have a plate now. So, just this, for demonstration, I have got this for all of you. So, what's happening here? I have this plate and I have this few bananas here. Now, after cooking everything, or you're offering fruits or dry fruits or whatever it is, then you take this small, tulsi leaf. The tulsi leaf is here. Now you see the tulsi leaf has a stalk. Now what we need to do is we need to remove the stalk. This stalk, I will take it out now because that should be taken out. Krishna, otherwise it will get stuck in Krishna's throat. So I take out that stalk and now there is only the leaf. Now this leaf, I am going to place it on the banana. Okay. So after cooking everything, you place the tulsi leaf and now things are ready. So this is what is happening. Your plate, your bhoga plate is ready now. Very, very important. Can anyone suggest what is the best thing that I could have done here? Can anyone unmute yourself and just tell me what better I could do here? I have already kept this bananas here on the plate. Can you just tell me and suggest something nice I can do here? Can I improvise my offering to Krishna? Any ideas that you have? I already placed this here. Tulsi leaf also is kept. Can you tell me how can I improvise this offering? Please unmute yourself.
You can probably skin the banana. Probably.
Good. Very good point. Very nice. Is there something else that I can do along with that? So what we can do is, when you are offering fruits, you can nicely cut them into pieces, small bite-sized pieces. When you offer some guests some fruits, you actually cut them and nicely give them so that it's very easy for them to eat. So similarly, Krishna is a person. So cut them nicely and then offer it to Krishna. It's very nice. So that is attention to details. So when we are doing seva, we are giving attention to all these minute details. So I don't simply offer it, but I actually skin them, properly clean them, and then put the tulsi leaf and then offer it to Krishna. So very nice. Good. So let's understand some more things about offering procedure. So now when we offer the bhoga, this plate, we need to have some prayers. But before the prayers, we can have the picture of Prabhupada, we can have the picture of Lord Chaitanya or the Panchatattva, and then we can have a Radha Krishna photo. At least these three things are important. So now what happens is, when we offer this bhoga, when you have this plate, because I am not pure, we are not pure, we cannot offer directly to Krishna. So what we are doing is, the procedure is, I first take this plate and I give it to my spiritual master. My dear spiritual master, please take this bhoga that I have prepared. That Prabhupada will take this bhoga from us and then he will offer it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will take it from Prabhupada and say, oh, you have offered me this. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will give it to Radharani. And then Radharani will give it to Krishna. So this is the procedure. This is the parampara. This is the nice way of offering. We cannot offer to Krishna directly at this in contaminated state. So when we offer it to Prabhupada, then it goes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it goes to Radharani, then finally goes to Krishna. So how do we do this now? We have to chant the pranam mantras. So when you keep this plate very nicely in front of the Lord, in front of the altar, in front of Prabhupada and Radha Krishna and the Panchatattva, then we will first pray to Prabhupada and we will chant these mantras thrice. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyat Deshatarine. While ringing the bell, you chant this mantra thrice, 3 times. So 3 times you chant this mantra, then you go to the next mantra, that is the mantra for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. Again, 3 times while ringing the bell. After offering it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you chant another mantra. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Gro Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagatitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. You see, again 3 times you chant this mantra while ringing the bell. Then you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Once you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, then after chanting all these mantras 3 times, and Hare Krishna mantra, you are now ready to keep it for the Lord to enjoy the prasadam, the bhoga, not prasadam, bhoga. Now let's ponder on some very important points here. Now, when you keep the bhoga plate, you leave the plate in front of the Lord for 15 to 20 minutes. Just like you take about 15-20 minutes to have a prasadam, the Lord equally takes that much amount of time. Now, suppose if you have prepared a lot of items, maybe chappan bhog, then you may have to keep 25 minutes more, 5 minutes more. So, if it is simple, some fruit offering or dry fruit offering, it can be 5 minutes. If it is like breakfast item, it can be 10 minutes. So accordingly, you can vary. The more the items, the more the time. So that is how you need to place the prasadam, the bhoga, in front of the Lord. Then, like I told you already, that ringing the bell is very important. Then finally, once the Lord is done with his eating the bhoga, now it is becoming prasadam. Now, this is a very interesting thing. Now, some people ask, oh Prabhuji, I kept the whole plate there and the full plate is still back. Krishna has not eaten. That is the mercy of Krishna. He doesn't eat anything completely. He leaves everything as it is. That's why it is said, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Evavashishyate. So anything that comes from Krishna is complete. Krishna can eat just by his glance. He doesn't have to eat by his mouth. Just by looking at it, he will eat it. And after eating it, he keeps it complete, full for us to enjoy. That is the mercy. That's why it is called prasadam. Now, what has happened is, when you have offered bhoga, Krishna has tasted. Now, when Krishna has tasted that, Krishna's saliva is mixed. Now, Krishna's saliva is nectar. And then when you take this prasadam, it's transcendental. It creates magic in you. It is not ordinary now. It is very, very powerful. So now when you ring the bell and then you're paying your respects to the Lord. Thank you so much for accepting our bhoga, my Lord. Now I'm taking the plate out. And then while ringing the bell, you again chant, Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshtarine. Then you chant once Hare Krishna mantra completely, and then you are thanking Lord, you are thanking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are thanking Prabhupada, and then you are taking it. So what now has happened is, Krishna has taken the prasadam, that Krishna's prasadam is taken by Radharani. Radharani is now giving it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is eating that prasadam and then giving it to Prabhupada. Prabhupada is taking that prasadam and then finally giving it to you. So what you are receiving is now Maha Prasadam. Very, very powerful. So you are not simply eating Krishna prasadam, but you are eating Maha Prasadam now. It's very powerful. So, I just want to mention one very beautiful pastime. Once Prabhupada was going from Mexico to some other place, so he boarded a flight with 2 more disciples in Mexico. And then during the flight, Prabhupada was hungry and then he was eating the puffed rice, poha. Prabhupada was eating poha and then he had as much as he wanted. Then he gave it to his disciple. His name was Shrutakirti Prabhu. And he gave it to another devotee who was with him. So they were very eager to, they're just waiting. Prabhupada will give us some Mahaprasadam. So they eat. He gave to that devotee and he kept something for his own self on the plate. And just when he was about to eat, the stewardess, so she was passing by through the aisle, and she saw this devotee. She stopped by. She put her hand in the plate and she took some poha and she ate it. Now she ate the Mahaprasadam Prabhupada. And then she was like so ecstatic. She said, "Oh, what is this? It's so nice." Then he said, "It is puffed rice." Then immediately the stewardess says, "Can I help you? Can I get something more for you?" Then this devotee looks at Prabhupada and says, "Prabhupada, do you want anything?" Then he said, "Yes, hot milk." And this lady, she was so happy. She goes and then she gets 3 cups of hot milk for each one of them. Now Prabhupada had this hot milk and this devotee was so excited. And he told Prabhupada, see, so nice that she came and gave hot milk. Prabhupada said, "Yes, that is the nature of a woman. Women generally, they like to serve people." And then this incident was over. 10 years later, Shrutakirti Prabhu, he was explaining this particular incident in London to the devotees while he was giving a lecture. He was telling all these things that happened in the plane. And after the lecture, one devotee from the group, he goes to Shrutakirti Prabhu and says, "The story that you told was very nice, but I want to tell you one story." And this devotee, he says that while I was doing Sankirtan in Brazil in the rainforest, where there are so many villages in remote areas, we were doing Sankirtan and we happened to go to one village distributing prasadam and distributing books, and we knocked at one door, and then a woman opens the door, and moment she saw us in dhoti kurta, she invited in. And we went inside the home and we saw the pictures of Krishna, and we saw there is a nice altar there at her place. And then they understood that she's a devotee. "Oh, you are a devotee. How come that you have become a devotee here in this remote village?" And then she said, "Actually, I happened to meet devotees. I happened to meet Prabhupada also. 10 years back, I met Prabhupada on a plane when I was a stewardess, and I happened to eat some prasadam. And now I'm a devotee." So this is the effect of Mahaprasadam. This is the effect of the mercy of the devotees. So whenever you get a chance to eat prasadam, just grab it. Never waste prasadam. Just grab it. That's the power of prasadam. So let's continue. When you take the bhoga plate from the altar, you need to mop that place with little, sprinkle some water and clean that altar place. Okay, clean that altar nicely where the plate was kept. Then after taking this now, the bhoga, you put each item in the respective vessel. The rice will go into rice, chapati will go into rice, chapati vessel, and then the fruits will go into the fruit vessel, the sabji will go into the sabji vessel. You mix everything and then take this plate of Krishna and wash it immediately. After washing the plate of Krishna, now you are ready to honor. Now Chaitanya is thinking, finally Prabhu, you are telling us to honor. So much big procedure, so many things, and then finally we are getting something. But this is a very, very beautiful experience that you're going to get. You practice this at your home and you will really thoroughly enjoy. Okay? So now, you may now distribute the prasadam and honor it yourself. So this is how we need to take prasadam after offering. So this is the procedure of offering, and the tulsi should be taken. Tulsi should not be removed and thrown. Tulsi should also be consumed. So this is the procedure. Now, before we go for honoring prasadam, let's see if there are any more questions. Okay, so let's take some questions now. Let me see if there are any. So hope the previous question that you had asked earlier, the procedure of offering, is all clear to you now. And especially the men at home should learn the procedure of offering. See, the women are busy cooking, but if the men can assist the women at home by offering, that will be really very nice. So the men should definitely know how to offer the bhoga to Krishna. Very, very important, extremely important. It's great if the men also can cook and assist the women at home while cooking. That's an amazing thing. So I generally do that. Although I don't know how to cook, but I try to assist Aradhana while she's cooking. And definitely I don't try making chapatis, because when I make chapatis, it's all different polygonal shape, and prasadam means it should look good. So it will definitely not look good if I cook it. So I just assist. That's all. So now, Mataji is asking, Prabhuji, if we have a mandir with Devata's pictures, is it okay to have Krishna picture or idol along with his? Definitely. I mean, it is so nice. The devotees, the Devatas will be so happy. Oh, now Krishna is with us. All this, time we were all alone, but now we have our worshipable deity Krishna with us here. So the Devatas will feel very happy. They are not they are not envious that, oh, now Krishna has come all the time. Now we were masters, now Krishna has come. No, they are not envious. So they will be more happy, very pleased. And in fact, when you offer something to Krishna, you can offer it to the Devatas also. The same thing you can say to them, you can offer them. They will be very happy and to have Krishna in the altar and also start getting some prasadam. So that's amazing thing. They'll bless you even more. Then, or should we separate? So when we offer, it will be an offering for all. No, there is no need to offer, but when you're chanting the mantras, you are chanting the mantra to Prabhupada, you're chanting the mantra to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then you are chanting the mantra for Krishna. So absolutely no problem in that sense. So you can still have them in the altar. You don't have to separate them, because they will be more pleased when Krishna is there. So then, but the mantras that you're chanting, these mantras are enough. So that should be enough. So Vinod Chandani is asking, can we keep a photo or say a bronze idol of Krishna? Definitely you can keep the bronze idol of Krishna, and that is also very nice. Deity worship can be done. So generally we recommend that we keep the idols of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, because the procedure of taking care of these deities is very simple. But when it's Radha and Krishna, then it has its own set of do's and don'ts. So the very simple procedure is either you have Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, or you can have Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga is none other than Krishna and Balaram. So, and they are very, very simple, very pleased, very easy to take care of them. So Nitai Gauranga is also very nice way of offering and keeping them, the idols of Nitai Gauranga. Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, or Nitai Gauranga to start off. When you become very experienced, mature, then you can have Radha Krishna. But Krishna definitely is not worshipped alone. But Laddu Gopal you can keep. Krishna idol, Laddu Gopal. Laddu Gopal, which is solid, not hollow. Sometimes you get idols which are hollow. So don't keep hollow idols. You need to have a proper idol. And generally, Krishna's, we don't call idol, we call deity. Because idol and deity, they are two different things. So you can have Laddu Gopal with you. So that will be really nice. So, yes, exactly. So Laddu Gopal is a very nice thing that you can have. And pictures of Radha Krishna and Prabhupada should be enough. Picture of Radha Krishna is okay. But deities, keeping deities of Radha Krishna is not okay. It's okay, but we are not mature at this stage. So Laddu Gopal you can keep and you can serve. That's very nice. So good. So let's go to the next section. I may extend the session a little bit. Please do not mind, but this is extremely important. Although I have cut down on the serving part of it, but let's go to the next very, very important part, and that's the honoring part of it. So after discussing all this, if we miss out on honoring part, then it will be injustice. So let's go to that. Honoring prasadam. Okay. So this is another very important aspect, the most relishing aspect of this whole yajna of preparing prasadam. So when we honor prasadam, the very first word you see, we are not enjoying prasadam. We are not simply eating prasadam, but we are honoring prasadam. Means you are actually respecting Krishna. We don't enjoy prasadam. We don't enjoy Krishna. we honor Krishna. Similarly, we honor Prasadam. We are very, very respectful towards Prasadam. We have to take this Prasadam cross legs. Now, most of us, we sit on dining tables. Even if you sit on dining tables, try to keep your legs crossed and sit on that. Ideally, we should sit down on the floor and eat Prasadam. It's very, very important because even Ayurveda recommends sitting on the floor on a proper asana. They used to have those patli. Patli means that floor. You sit on that and then you have Prasadam. That will help you a lot. So that's very important to please have prasadam while we are cross legs, having cross legs. Now, before beginning the meal, before you start eating, you should first glance at the prasadam. You should pay your respects to it, remembering that it's the mercy of the Lord. Oh my Lord, thank you so much for your mercy, the prasadam that you have given. Then you should glorify the Lord very nicely. How do you glorify by the Lord? The prayers are given. And I'm going to share these prayers with all of you. So if I don't, then please remind me. I'm going to share these prasadam prayers. How do we chant these prayers? Very, very nice prayers are given in the Mahabharata and the Skanda Purana. Let me chant these prayers. Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Swalpa Punyam Tam Rajan Vishwasanaiva Jayate Sharire Avidyajal जड़ेंद्र हेताय काल जीवे फैले विषय सागरे तारा मध्या जीवाति लोभोमाय सुदुर्मति ताके जेता कठिन संसारे कृष्ण बड़ा दयामय कोरी बारे जीवा जाए सो प्रसाद अन्न दिलो भाई से अन्नामृत पाओ राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ प्रेम डाको श्री चैतन्य निताय जय निताय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Then after saying these prayers we say Shri Shri Radha Krishna Chandra Laddu Gopal Radha Madhav Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya Srila Prabhupada Mahaprasadam ki jai. Then after saying all this, then you start relishing the prasadam. So these prayers I'm going to chant. I'm going to send you the audio file as well as the text file so that you can refer to them and learn. It's very, very simple and very joyful also. So let's ponder upon some very important points here. So before you take prasadam, please wash your hands, your feet and mouths. You can also clean your mouth before honoring prasadam. Very, very important. Do not eat while standing. Generally in the buffet system, people tend to go stand and they start eating while standing. That is not good. So, especially in the parties and all those places, we should sit and eat, not stand and eat. It's not a right thing to do. So, use your 5 fingers of the right hand and to touch or place the food in the mouth. And it's an offense to touch the prasadam with the left hand. Do not touch left hand to the prasadam. Eat only with the right hand. Only the water glass you can take with the left hand. But don't touch any prasadam with your left hand. Especially, when you are tearing the chapatis or the puris. I have seen, especially North Indians do this. They use both hands and then they tear the chapati and they eat it. No, you should practice how to tear the chapati with your right hand and then eat it. It's very important. Do not use your left hand at all. The left hand should be only used for sipping some water. And when you drink water also, do not touch the glass. You should drink from the top. Do not touch the glass to the lips, to the mouth. Drink it from the top. And while honoring prasadam, do not talk. It's very difficult, especially in this time and age when people get together, they talk so much, but you are actually honoring prasadam. You're doing puja, it's an yajna. Please understand. Honoring, eating prasadam is also an yajna. And while eating, you should keep the plate on the floor. Many people, because they cannot bend down, they keep the plate on the belly. Their belly is so big they can keep the plate on the belly and they keep eating it. That's an improper way. You should not hold the plate above on your hands and then eat it. Because Yagna Kunda, your plate is a Yagna Kunda. Have you seen any pujaris lifting the Yagna Kunda and then doing swaha, swaha? No, they don't do that. It's placed properly on the ground. So your plate is also Yagna Kunda. So you cannot lift your Yagna Kunda and then keep it on the belly and eat it. No, that's an improper way. While eating or drinking, do not make disturbing noises. You know, people keep belching. What? All those kind of noises they make. So please do not, it will disturb others. It's very irritating sometimes when people make that noise, and some people, it's too much. And then you should not find fault with the taste of the prasadam. Please tolerate. When Krishna has already accepted that it has become prasadam, even if does not have salt, please think that it's mercy of the Lord and eat it. That's all. Okay? So do not find fault with the prasadam. Oh, this is not good, that is not good. No. When Krishna has accepted, then we should take it. Just take it. That's all. And while eating, many times, we take the curry leaves are there, drumsticks are there, chilies are there. When you eat them and you cannot actually consume them, you should not keep them on the floor. You should keep in one portion, one side of your plate. Do not keep them on the floor, outside the plate. You should not place them. Keep it on the plate, but somewhere in the corner. So all those things should not be kept because it's already prasadam. You should not keep them on the floor. Not a good habit. Now, like I already explained, the large items like chapatis and puris should be torn by the right hand. Make small pieces and then eat it. And do not spit while eating. Some people keep their mouth open and they keep chewing. Not a good thing to do again. And while speaking and while eating, you should not spit. You should not spit the prasadam. Not good. And some people while drinking, although then they don't like something, then they spit put the spit in the water. No, you should not spit in the water also. So all these are nitty-gritties. These are hygienic principles we need to follow. So please ponder upon these things. Very, very important. Now, after finishing the meal, while waiting for others to finish, one may chant loud various slokas. Mahaprasadam ki jai, Radha Krishna Chandra ki jai. After you are nicely satisfied, you have enjoyed the prasadam, you should glorify the Lord once again, before and after. Very nice. So generally, when I get up, we get up after we say Mahaprasadam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. We say something like that, and then we get up from the place. Now, after rising from the meal, one should wash one's hands without delay and then rinse once more at least 3 times, and finally one may wash one's feet. Now, why feet? Yes, actually, whenever you go to the toilets, whenever you go, put your hands in one of the 9 holes. We have 9 holes in the body. If you touch any one of these 9 holes, you should wash your hands and feet. That's the principle of cleanliness. So if we can follow these hygienic principles, mind you, no corona will affect you. No virus can affect you. Our principles are very hygienic. The Brahminical culture is extremely pure. So if anybody can follow this day in and out, nothing can affect, no virus can really affect you because you're already practicing the hygienic principles. And do not take rest, perform very strenuous labor directly after the meal. You should wait at least for half an hour and then you can do whatever activities you want. But immediately you should not. You should give some rest for yourself. After eating the meal, after having your prasadam, it's very important that wherever you had kept the plate, you should mop it. Nobody should step on it. It's wrong. So before anybody steps on that place or does anything else, you should mop that place where the plate was kept, where you had eaten. Very, very important. Okay, and we do that every single day, every single time we eat. Mop the place. Very, very important. So that's it for today, and I'll take some more questions now before I leave. One more important thing is, please do not overeat. Eat as much as you want. Please do not take extra prasadam. You have to be very conscious how much quantity you want, because overeating will lead to disease. oh, just because it's prasadam, I'll keep stuffing prasadam more and more. No, it will lead to some disease. Although prasadam is very pure, but we should maintain the body appropriately. Never overeat. Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he never liked his disciples to have pot bellies. We should be very lean, very fit and fine. Never overeat. Avoid overeating, even if it is prasadam. In the younger days, it's okay when you are a nice young boy, young people, you can eat a lot of things. But as you grow, we should minimize. Yukta ahara, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Everything in moderation. Eating moderation, sleeping moderation. Everything should be in moderation. Do not overeat. Okay? So with this, let me open up for a few more Q&A. Let's understand a few more very important things. If there are any questions. So can we get from ISKCON DT of Laddu Gopal? Yes, definitely you can get Laddu Gopal from the nearest ISKCON temple. And generally the Laddu Gopal, I had shared a picture image with Dev. So you can have that kind of a Laddu Gopal, which is not made of ceramic. It is made properly with the Panchaloha, the 5 elements with the 5 metals. So that will be really very nice. So Laddu Gopal is good, you can keep Laddu Gopal. So honoring prasadam, we do not eat and enjoy prasadam. Now, serving prasadam is another science which we will definitely discuss sometimes later. But serving prasadam is a science in itself. You see, many times I have seen people, they have nice sambar and rice, and then this person comes and puts one gulab jamun in between the sambar. Now, how can you relish a gulab jamun when it is put in the sambar? So, you will simply annoy that person. So, you should have a proper etiquette of serving prasadam. That's another session. We will definitely discuss in detail about it. So, please ask any questions if you have regarding the things that we have discussed today. I hope you have got good insights on all that we wanted to discuss about prasadam. Very, very important. Prabhupada ensured that anybody comes to temple, nobody should go without prasadam. Everybody should get some prasadam. Prabhupada was very strict on this. Never send anyone without prasadam. So, please, anybody comes to your home, there should be some dry prasadam. You should offer something to them. Offer some dry prasadam and they will really relish. They are getting the mercy of Krishna. So, yes, Achyutanji is saying, very good insights, Prabhuji. Yes, thank you so much, Achyutanji. And there are many more things that we want to discuss going forward in these practical sessions. So, practical spirituality, these sessions, we are definitely going to understand all these different aspects of spirituality, like how to chant properly, how to deal with people properly, associate with people properly, and then how to have proper etiquettes when we go to the temple. What are we supposed to do? What are we not supposed to do? So all these things we are going to discuss on in these sessions of practical spirituality every first Sunday of the month. And today we have started in this new year. So fantastic that you could all join. And please share these sessions with everyone else so that people can benefit. They also understand some practical aspects of spirituality. So from my side, this is that's it. If you have any questions, I will open up for questions. Let me see if there are any questions in the YouTube. No, as of now, I don't have any. So please feel free to ask any questions. If not, then we will end the session. So we will continue from where we have left in the Bhagavad Gita. Next session, we will continue the next shlokas, upcoming shlokas. We have completed, I think, until 21st or 22nd shloka. We will continue from there. So please chant regularly every single day. And from today onward, at least for the next 1 month, if you can minutely observe all these different things and apply these things in your life while cooking prasadam, you'll see the magic happening in your place. You will see amazing things happening. It's very powerful. Very, very powerful. Okay? So, yes. So that's it today. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for joining, all of you. And we will see you again next weekend, back into the Bhagavad Gita sessions. So, thank you once again. Take care. Hare Krishna.